Welcome back. John Sheev and Chip Nellinger joining us this weekend after a big Friday with USDA reports trying to initially digest what this information means. Chip, I'll start off with you because new crop corn carryover came in 180 million bushels below trade expectations. Was that the most bullish change that we saw in Friday's report?
Well, I think it might have been certainly on the one hand, old crop demand was 100 million bushels higher, and then they have new crop demand, higher as well, and so that ended up with a carryout figure that was well under the average estimate. I think that's certainly something that supports us going into the growing season here. We got to get the crop planted, and we got to make sure that we can get it pollinated and have that big crop and that chance at 181 bushel trendline yield.
John, you take a look at initially the report reaction. We were up on corn prices, soybean prices, wheat prices. Was this report that bullish?
I didn't see really anything in it that I thought was all that bullish from it. I thought it was more bearish than anything. I looked back at the May report a year ago to see what the initial thoughts were that this crop would turn out to be, and it was supposed to be 2.2 billion carryout. And at the time, December corn on 23 crop was trading at 515. It ends up that we come in now here at just over 2 billion on the carryout. And what we also saw was that the price that the USDA thought the farmer would get would be 480, would be their average price. Now they're already saying that that price is down to 465, and we're struggling to even maintain that value for cash for a lot of farmers across this country. So I don't see where this bullishness comes from, because this future report's still going to be over 2 billion, and that's assuming if we only plant 90 million acres.
Well, before we get more into the U.S. crop, looking at South America, we're still trying to assess the flooding impact there. Now, USDA, Chip, did make slight adjustments when it comes to that South America's crop, but that severe flooding, I mean, we're having some private estimates come in. Ag Resource Company, they estimated a loss of 1.32 million metric tons of soybeans there. Do you think we will see further cuts ahead?
Yeah, I really do. A lot of the private estimates are well under that. CONAB, we get Tuesday morning, so we'll get a fresh update from CONAB, and that will help kind of get the market a little bit of direction as to whether they continue to cut their estimates there. But a lot of local and private estimates in the Southern Hemisphere have crop sizes still several hundred million bushels below where the USDA is. A lot of recent flooding there, and there's be some crop loss in those southern areas of the Brazil growing areas. And so, I think that's part of it that's helping support us as well. And again, I think that a lot of this is money flow as well. We can't forget that the funds are in buy mode now. They're coming out of a large short position. And so this report, any of the numbers certainly didn't give the bears, a lot of ammunition when the funds are moving out of so many contracts on the short side and moving to the sidelines on a lot of these markets that we're trading.
John, do you have a similar take on South America? I know you watch it closely. I mean, you look at everyone trying to assess just how widespread of damage do we have right now, and it may take a while to do that.
I think it'll take us an extreme amount of time. The USDA always slow plays it about how they think that's going to be, and CONAB usually fast plays it and then backtracks it later on. So I think that between those two is probably where the real number is. It's probably closer to the USDA number. I don't think that a lot of the private analysts really have gotten how many acres are being planted down there. And the expansion is big. We saw that in the last year when everyone was a little bit shocked when the USDA wasn't lowering numbers. And that's because they were looking at export numbers coming out of there, and they saw that there's a lot of beans, which means a lot of extra acres went into the ground. So from that standpoint, I'm not expecting a lot more from that. And flooding is usually a very localized problem. It always seems worse than it really is. And so I don't put a lot of stock in it.
Well, the latest USDA report, all of the rain that we are seeing here in the U.S., had some good news when it comes to the Midwest. We will talk about that, plus the impact of the planting pace coming up next.
Watch Markets Now with Michelle Rook on the Farm Journal YouTube channel, keeping you updated throughout the day on the markets at the open, midday, and close. Find out what moved the markets today and what to expect the market to do next.